But I love being in cemeteries alone because I have no fear for like the horror of like cemeteries and all. My name is Dave. I'm from the class of 2019. Yeah, I moved houses when I was like 14. 15 is what we call an en bloc in Singapore, where the flat gets like repossessed by the government. I finally got my own room since then. So everything kind of changed, and that was like that influential moment. I stopped fighting with my brother because of that. He's 4 years my senior. I played the drums when I was 15. I couldn't keep a beat to save my life for like a year. We started playing out My Chemical Romance and like Muse and stuff like that. Before that, I never really heard music. My family doesn't have a background of any kind of music. I think I tried the guitar, the bass, the piano, and everything else before that. I realized I can't play any of it, so it was left with the drums. So photography is my second love, as much as I don't want to say that. It's kind of like my main thing now, but yeah, it is my second love after music. I started when I was right after the army, when I could finally afford a camera. I took a lot of film with my dad's camera when I was 12 and 13, and a very fond memory was actually opening the back of the camera and exposing all the film from the family like holiday. By accident, and I got fucked after that. I scanned all my family negatives recently. It's just like a way to think about how I lost my own house in that sense, I guess. And what happened is that I found that my father had this one place in the living room that he really liked to photograph, and I realized that I guess for me it's just outside my window that I test like every camera and every negative with. So I have like a shot of that from every camera I've owned, probably. I've had phases of obsession. Last year when I was in New York, I was obsessed over soybeans. Yeah. I was overseas, and it was like the first time I was overseas. I was overseas for a very long time, but overseas for such a long time in a very isolated manner, because I was in a residency. So I was left to my own thoughts, and what happens when you're left to your own thoughts? You start thinking about like, I started responding to the idea of myself as a tourist, or myself as an outsider, and then I thought about what made me, and I thought the easiest trope or motif or thing to think about was soybeans, because I was just craving soya milk. We were in Penang, and there were like landslides, and the way to block the landslides was to cover the landslides with like massive amounts of tarp. And what happens is that it transforms landscapes into like canvases like of tarp. That's all they are. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, basically I find things to obsess over, and then I question what they are and why we use it. I think as photographers we find spaces that are different, because especially my kind of photography, I guess I come from a very documentary but also conceptual art, so where the intersection meets forces me to try to ground something in what I consider reality, which is the space and the place, as much as possible. And what happens from there is that you either interpret something very differently. I mean, there's only like X number of ways that you can shoot the Eiffel Tower, but I guess a cemetery, because no one really takes photos of. I mean, people do, but what they take the photos for is very different from what I take the photos for. I mostly discover and think about Singapore through photos also. From that, I've discovered that I'm kind of attracted to like what I've already processed as like lackadaisical like moments. I feel like that there's that kind of like softness, kind of idle, kind of plain sense of the abstract in the everyday life that happens a lot in Singapore. Our everyday life outside is like so apparent. Yeah, like we spend so much time in like void decks. I mean, not us, but like the common person that isn't working, that is like retired. And within those lackadaisical moments, you find very bizarre moments.